Starting the video off from my trailer here. We're gonna make a video on this thing today. You guys are gonna get to learn a little bit about it and whatnot. I'm gonna get to learn a little bit more about it, because funny thing, I actually have two of these coming. One of them's coming towards the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. We're in December now, and then obviously we'll have this one available now. So if you're interested in this, definitely hit me up. I guess keep tuned, keep watching the video, and I'll update you on this. Just like that, it's unloaded. Let's close the trailer back up and we'll go for a drive so you guys can get the first impressions. But first things first, we got to get a K plate on this thing ASAP. So we'll go back to the Mendy Imports garage, put that plate on it, and then we'll go for a drive. Just like that, we're back at the Mendy Imports garage, which is still a mess. I picked number 5467. Gonna get this drilled out, placed in the front, and then it'll be official. The battery was dead on this. Over time, they just sit. Even when you get them from the port, they can get just drained and whatnot, or when it gets cold especially. But have the jump pack, have my backpack for size reference, so you guys can know what fits and doesn't fit. Yeah, so let me get this plate on and then we'll go from there. If you don't know, I do have regular K plates as well as glow plates on my website. Go on mendyimports.com. You can pick from there. These are actually pretty attainable, or affordable I should say. They do come with the whole cover, and then those come with the whole cover and the LED backer. So yeah, I don't know why it just seems more authentic to have an authentic JDM plate on a vehicle that's JDM. I know some states are required to have front plates and whatnot, so I apologize if you're in one of those states and you can't. You could also be risky and do it and just put the plate in the front over there. But yeah, let's close this thing up. Let's take it for a drive. We're actually gonna go to the car wash. So we'll drive through town a little bit, and then from the town, after we go through the car wash, we'll take it on the highway, so you guys can get an idea of what it is to drive this thing on the highway. All right, so first impressions right off the bat, we actually do have a decent amount of room. Even though my knee is there, the nice thing is there is no clutch on this, which is really weird. When I got in and there was no clutch. It's automatic, so that kind of stays where it stays. The seat does slide forward and back. It's maxed out at the back. Steering wheel issue, I should get a tape measure for situations like this so I know how far it is. Let's see, there goes the AC kicking on. Seems like that's working. Swap that to here. The heat seems to be working pretty well. This one happens to have 115,987 kilometers. It'll probably be like 116,000 kilometers by the time I'm done driving it. Maybe not. I don't think I'll put 20 kilometers on it all at once, but yeah. Well, actually, let's see. So pretty simple. No even needing to rev it so that we can go. The only thing I noticed that's kind of annoying right off the bat is the steering wheel makes a little bit of noise, which is kind of interesting. It maybe just needs to be greased up in the back. You can kind of hear it there, but first impressions are it's really fun to drive an automatic because there's not much to it. I will say this is a little bit of annoyance down here. Nothing crazy though, but we'll start driving and then come back to this in a sec. There's a couple lights right by my house that I catch. A lot of them sometimes are red, so now that we got some green lights, this is just everyday driving. This is if you would be in town or getting groceries. What I love about it is actually it has a lot of get up and go for being an automatic. Obviously it is a 3-speed L2D. It would be a 4-speed. It would have what's it called? Overdrive button on the side here, but it doesn't. This is a two-wheel drive model, so they're usually a little bit more zippy because they're two-wheel drive. But you can see we're cruising at 70 kilometers and it's going pretty nicely. Nothing to complain about. It might need an alignment because it pulls a little to the right. Something I can probably get taken care of. Yeah, I can get this taken care of over at the tire shop that I deal with, Temford Tire. Shout out to them. Previous owner did put what looks to be like an American radio, so it does have an American radio in here. Let's see, radio. Sounds like, oh yeah, it does have two speakers, one there and one there. I don't know if it's got any rear speakers, but then, oh, that's, in my opinion, that's the best thing, is that it's got Bluetooth. My phone I actually connect to it, but that means it's ready to go whenever you want. Whenever you're ready to just listen to your audio, it's ready to go. As far as handling goes, I think it handles pretty well. Again, other than the pulling to the right. But that may just also mean that it's doing that because it was sitting for a good little while. When I had it on the trailer, I noticed that the air was pretty low on the tires. So we're gonna go through the car wash, get the air filled up on these tires, get them all to be equal and see if it still pulls to the right, and then go from there. But overall, it rides pretty nicely. Like over bumps, you can't really hear anything. It's nice and smooth. So catch you when I go through the car wash, and then tell you a little bit about it a little more once I hit the road on the highway. Sorry, these are so awkward because I'm trying to find the words to say while I'm making this video while driving. So I apologize if it sounds like I don't know what I'm saying, but it's like trying to multitask. That's definitely a Nick thing when it comes to making these videos, not me. So I'm still learning. I'm evolving as I go, so bear with me. Teggy, if you're watching this, don't hate on me. This has not been corrected, but if it did get corrected, you know better. I know better. We would never be putting this through the car wash. It's also really funny to me when I pull up to the car wash, they're always smiling because they always know that I got the crazy cars here that I bring that are all imports, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so we're gonna get this thing washed up, get it looking a little bit better than it does because it's been sitting for a good little while, and get back to you in just a few. If you're in my Instagram, you know that this is my not favorite, but famous car wash I come through. Not the best for your car, especially if it's color corrected, just because it just beats on your paint with these bristles. But if it's not color corrected and it needs work anyways, then we'll just usually run it through to get it nice and washed up. What's awesome about this car wash is you have air, you have cleaning materials, you got microfiber rags to use it. Then on top of that, you also have the vortex. So we can take this van and make it look good. But let me give you kind of a walk around after it's wet. The paint's not in the greatest of shape. I think it needs a good color correction. But even then, I don't know if we can get it to look like $1 million. You can kind of see it on that side more. Just a lot of like micro scratches. Kind of interesting. It's that door, but not this door. This panel kind of. So maybe somebody did try to color correct it, but it wasn't so successful. It is a 12 twin cam, 12 valve. You can see they did a little bit of repainting right here on this part. It's kind of close. Maybe it just needs to get color corrected, that's all. I might clean off those stickers to make it look better. By no means is this paint perfect. By no means is it imperfect either. Like, I think with a little bit of elbow grease you can make it look better. Looks like somebody tried to buff it there. I don't know if they weren't so successful at it. I don't know. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I mean, for a classic van, it looks pretty cool. These wheels poke out a lot. I have steel wheels that I can put that are actually 4x110. That's the difficult part with these vans because they're Daihatsu Atrai vans. They have a specific bolt pattern, which is 4x110. But enough talking. Let me clean this thing up so we can get on with the video. I did need to show this part because it was at 17 pounds. So that could do a lot with the steering. So hopefully when we put it up to the 34 pounds I normally put it to, it'll bring it back to driving straight. So I'll do this to all four wheels and then come back. All right, so update, I just left the car wash. I believe the trick with the air did it. Wow, love this, love this. Let's just go all the way right from the left lane. Such a genius thing to do, some people. I really could care less, but it's just, it amazes me. During the holidays, people I feel like drive 10 times dumber than they do any other day. Anyway, it seems to be tracking straight now that I put air on all the tires because they were all at like around 17 pounds. This is not an accurate, this road isn't an accurate representation of it going straight, but it's holding now, so it doesn't need alignment. It's good to go, so that's a good thing. That's I think the first thing you check when you get a New York car, not a New York car, but an import from Japan, before you think it needs an alignment, just pump up the air on all the tires to the same PSI and you should be good. I'm genuinely impressed with this. I actually really like this automatic one. Yet again, I'm impressed. I didn't make a video on it before, but I used to, back in July, right before we went to Japan, I got a Daihatsu, a hijet, that's what it was. I had a hijet pickup truck that I got, and it was a 2-wheel drive automatic, and I've always been a hater of automatic Kei cars, but let me tell you, after hanging out with Nick and driving a lot more automatic Kei cars, I'm kind of open to the idea of it. I wouldn't, sorry, I got a phone call. Yeah, I start to like the idea of driving an automatic Kei car. I know it sounds kind of nuts. I have a Miragino coming, and I'm kind of interested to see how that Miragino compares to, you know, other cars and whatnot, because Giovanni just had one and he says he loves it. The thing's an absolute beast. It was 4-wheel drive and automatic, but turbocharged is what he had. This one happens to be just automatic, rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated, and this thing hauls. So I'm genuinely surprised. Once I get on the highway, I'll start back up again. This is from takeoff. We're getting into this undisclosed road in Mexico. Picking up some speed. 70 kilometers, 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 105, 110, 113, there we go, 115, 118 kilometers, 120 kilometers. Wow, this thing is flying. 125 kilometers. I'm sorry. Yeah, 125. Let's see. 128. Come on, get to 130. So close. It is a very windy day today. Wow. We didn't quite make it to 130 kilometers. But let me tell you, I'm genuinely impressed with this van in the amount of speed that it goes. Oh, there it is, 130. And still going 132. Okay, there's the fuel cut, or probably the rev cut. So probably like around 132 is your fuel cut. It doesn't like going that fast. Now let me be honest. Kei cars really should stay in between 100 and 120. Otherwise, you can hear it screaming right now. It only has 3 gears on this automatic transmission, so we run through the gears very quickly, and therefore, it doesn't love it going super fast. But overall, I am genuinely impressed with this automatic Kei van. It definitely hauls. These mirrors are floppy. That's one thing I do not like about these mirrors, because once they catch the wind when you're going fast, they flop down. But overall, like I say, I'm happy with this. I think it hauls. It actually does a lot better than my turbo carry, and I think the turbo carry is just not running right. But yeah, I'm genuinely enjoying driving this one. I'm just kicking back, I'm chilling, just driving. If I had passengers in the back, I think I'd still be going about the same. Steering wheel's nice. The whole car's nice and planted. I'm not being thrown all over the road like I normally would be in some cars, but I think it's got something to do with the width of these tires. like being so wide on the road is what I'm saying. Meaning the spacer, it's got, I think it's got a 1-inch spacer and whatnot, but temperature's holding well. Gas, you know, it's doing good. Oh, look, I had 116,000 kilometers. So overall, I'm genuinely surprised with this van, the way that it drives. It's actually quite nice. I quite actually enjoy it. Only biggest complaint for me is if you're a big guy, this leg will kind of get annoyed. Just the placement of it, like I'm resting it up against the dash there. This leg's all right. The only annoyance is kind of like on the, what's it called, on the Acties, is that hump, the wheel hump right there. But let me take you to where I normally make my videos when it's nice out. It's brick outside, so if I start huffing and puffing, that's why you know that it's really cold outside. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you back in just a few. All right, so here it is. We have a 1998 Daihatsu Atrai Classic van. This one happens to be the 2-wheel drive model. So it's rear-wheel drive. It happens to also be automatic. I just took it through the car wash, but let me tell you, having these extra poke-out wheels, when you go over a splash or a puddle, it definitely hits it. What are some significant things that I can talk about this? Well, for starters, it's got the classic kit on it. So you can see the bumper. It's got these little chrome accent pieces to them. It's got obviously the thing that says classic on it, which is pretty nice. This one does happen to have aftermarket wheels. So these are pretty cool. They're not in the best of shape, but they're not in the worst of shape. If you see it from this far away, you can't really tell. But if you come up to them, you know, they do have a little bit of scratches here and there. The van overall, it's in pretty great shape, other than probably the paint, in my opinion. I think the paint could use some Jesus or some help. You could just see that the front end here, that's what the original paint is supposed to look like, and that's kind of how it looks like in most of the other parts of the van. Actually, it's interestingly enough, the front nose over here, this area looks really nice, and so does the roof, but for some reason the bumper, which happens to be plastic, and then these doors, with the exception of this door, are just a little rougher. This is more rough around the edges here, so in my opinion, probably doing a respray on this would probably be the best thing. You could probably revive most of the paint for the most part, probably by buffing it and, you know, maybe a wet sand here and there. It looks like somebody probably tried to do that on this side over here, where the classic used to be, and you can kind of see that they burned through the paint a little. Overall, I'm genuinely surprised on how well this thing does on the road. Again, it's more planted than the regular model would be, because I'll show you. See how wide that stance is on the rear end? See how wide those tires are? It gives you a little bit more, I guess, footprint on the ground, I guess you could say. Overall, really cool van. I really don't care about the paint, to be honest with you. For what it is, for being a Kei van, having all the cool things that it has inside of it, all those key features, I think make up for the fact that it's got kind of a cruddy paint job. What's really cool is it already has LED lights, both your running lights and then your headlights, probably high beams as well, because they're H4s. Oh, and then look at this. Also the turn signals. So let's turn on the turn signals, so you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, so LEDs all around, which is sick. The previous owner did that. He put LEDs all the way around. Let me open all these doors so you get an idea of how cool this van is. LED in the rear, you can tell by the color. Let's open this back door. You got a back wiper, which is pretty cool, pretty baller in my opinion. Overall, really cool van. Probably one of the key features to this van, I think, is the interior. How cool it is, how you get this like almost like Burberry. I almost feel like this should be a coat, like you should be wearing that on the coat. What's cool is that you get it here and you also get it on the doors. Again, this is more of a vinyl print. You know, the doors aren't perfect either. Like there's a little bit cut out slits here and there, but that's very minor. You can't even tell, you know, if you're not really looking for it. This door you could tell a little bit more, just because of how probably whatever used to be there. Maybe it was an aftermarket armrest or something. The carpets are in pretty good condition, both the rugs themselves. I think the worst of it, you'll always see it, is on these driver sides. They're a little bit worse than the others. Let's take a look at the gas cap area. Gas cap area is great. There seems to be no rot or rust anywhere, which in my opinion, if that's all you need for a Kei van is a perfect paint job, it's not bad. It's not terrible at all. It's pretty cool. The roof, I think you're missing a roof rack on this thing. To make it really classic, I think it would make it really cool. Again, seats are amazing. They're actually really comfortable. These headrests, they kind of remind me of like an alien head for some reason. I haven't tried the battery seat, but we'll see if it's still good. What's cool about these Kei vans, you can fully lay that down. I believe, let's see, yep, you can lay this guy fully down. You can pull this guy all the way forward. Lay this down. I'm sure the jump pack's not, yep, it's in the way. If we take this headrest, whoa, you went flying there. Take this headrest, and now you got yourself a bed with a little bit of adjustment to it. Oh, I guess it's only up and down, so maybe no adjustment, but you can easily put a mattress in there. What's really cool about these vans too is that you put that seat up. Let's put this headrest back up in its position where it belongs, or I should say the alien head. ET phone home. This is all in real time, so you can kind of get an idea of this. We'll pull this guy back up here, and then we'll pull this guy. Boom, down she goes, and then it's flat. And I think even if we take this headrest off, it lays down even better than before. Yep, now you got yourself a flat cargo space. It's cool that they have this carpet to cover to protect this vinyl. Here's my backpack, so you kind of get an idea. Let's take this other headrest off. We'll go to the other side. Drop this guy down. Pull this lever. Drop. Boom. Now you got yourself a really cool flat space. Now you can fit pretty much anything you want back here. It's pretty tall. Let's see. I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm like, probably my legs are nice and straight, but I'm hunched over. So I would say if it's 6 feet tall, this is probably 3 feet tall, maybe a little shorter, a little more. What's really cool is this comes with the vinyl roof. Nice LED on that one. That's sick. What else? Let's see. LED on this one. Yep. LED on that one. Let's see. Let's see if we hear the radio bumping. Got some white static in there. Again, what's really cool about this radio, no rear speakers on this one. They normally, Kei cars don't come with rear speakers. I'm sure that's what these cutouts are for. It's probably for rear speakers, but again, what's cool about this one is the fact that it does come with an American radio, Bluetooth, ready to go. Has AC, automatic, freaking, what's it called? E-brake. I mean, what else can you ask for here? In my opinion, it's not four-wheel drive. That's normally where the four-wheel drive button would be. But overall, cool van. Let's kind of get under it and see what we got working with under here. Clean engine down here. Nothing leaking. No rust or rot to report. Just surface rust here and there. But that's pretty standard on these. Solid tubs. Let's see. Let's go to the back here. Bumper, you can tell somebody's backed into something. That's like that again. That's all part of the body work. But look at this. You got your spare tire under here. You got your rear axle. You got your dinky exhaust. Your giant muffler for what, I don't know. It's very interesting. This bar has a spring on it, which is really, I wonder why. I wonder what that does. What the purpose of that is. I don't know. I've never really looked at that rear end before. Like I said, it rides really nicely. You don't hear any clunking or anything like that. See where I went over a splash or a puddle? But you have your shock and strut, your exhaust, your drive shaft, nice and clean. Here's another video of the engine. Let's pop this passenger and driver seat. You have your jack over here. Let's see. You have your glove box. Let's pull this guy out. You unlatch this, and then you flip this. Oh look, the owner did their own like sound deadening. And you got your engine right here. 3 cylinders, you can tell by the amount of injectors they have here. Just dirty. I didn't get a chance to clean this, nor will I. It's kind of, you get it the way that it is. Nice and clean. This is really cool because once you put this, you can't even hear it. It's very, very quiet under there. Let's go look at the other side. Put this seat so we can get it open. Same thing, tin foil and their own sound deadening. Very nice, healthy sounding engine, nothing crazy. Give you a couple revs. Again, the nice thing about this is kind of the sky's the limits what you can do with these vans. You can go crazy. You can put sound system in this. You can get like cool bed back here made, and you can have this as like your weekend camper. It's not 4-wheel drive, but I sometimes wonder why people want 4-wheel drive all the time, because when you talk to them and you ask them, hey, how often do you go 4-wheeling, or how often do you use 4-wheel drive, and they're like, not really, because some people don't even drive theirs in the snow because they don't want to make it so that it's so dirty and that they have to clean it up and they have to deal with rust. So for the most part, you never hear of people going off-roading with these things. So having 4-wheel drive is kind of like, it's a cool amenity, but sometimes it's not even worth it. I'll give you, let's see, that's driver's seat all the way back. You can kind of tell it's cold, that's why I'm all bundled up. Now if we go to the passenger side, or the rear, wow, this is why I like Kei Vans. You get a ton of room over here. So let's lift this seat up. Nice. Let's put this headrest back on. Baller. I can be driven around in this, even with somebody that's tall. That's with the seats kind of far back too. That's with the left passenger seat all the way forward. I think I could comfortably go here on a road trip. Let's close this door to kind of get an idea. Oh yeah, I mean, the nice thing is I could fully lay the seat down and be chilling back there. It's funny, they had these ashtrays back in the day for when I guess Japan used to be a lot bigger on smoking. Now they have these like cool e-vape cigarettes that they still produce smoke, but not as bad. They don't produce ash, which is cool. It's still not cool to smoke. I'm not telling you to smoke, but I'm saying less and less we'll start to see a lot less like cigarette burns on the things and whatnot on the seats. Swap over to here. Again, nice and spacious. It's really interesting. This side has a step up because they're meaning for that side to go more up, like to have a passenger in here. That side doesn't. It's probably because this door isn't even meant to open. They do. I've imported an Atrai. I think it's been 2 of them where they actually don't even have a door on that side, and they just have just like a simple like cubby area, and the doors are just here and there, which is really cool. Passenger side, even if I was sitting all the way forward, it's not the most comfortable. My knee hits there. My Oshkood Slaughters, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. But basically I have a hump on my knee here from growing pains. But all the way back, you have a ton of room. I almost think you have more room than some of the other cars that are reviewed, like the Alto or the Jimny. But I mean, you'll still be pretty close to the driver. The nice thing is the driver won't be shifting anything. Once he's in gear, and that's it. Or he or she or whoever's driving. Overall, really, really cool van. I mean, if I was looking for a daily driver van to get around, to be able to put these seats down and whatnot, I would definitely get this. A drawback from this is there are no seat belts in the back, so that's one thing to think about. If you have kids, there is a workaround. They sell these cool straps on Amazon that basically go around the back of this seat and basically allow you to have the 2 hooking points for your car seat so that the kids can have the harness on their seat belts and whatnot. So that's a pretty cool thing. They got these bars. Normally these bars are here because this is more of a cargo one, so if your cargo doesn't topple over and fall over and break the glass. Again, here's my backpack as reference as to how big this is. I've reviewed the Vamos, and the Vamos, it looks to be about the same size as the Vamos, except this is more narrowed like that, versus the Vamos is a little bit more open, more boxy, if that makes sense. Overall, really, really cool van. I'm actually excited to get the one that I have coming at the end of the month. I think it'll be really cool. This one is for sale. Oh, look, it used to have some sort of sticker on here. It said classic something. I don't even know. See if you can kind of tell. You can see the outline of it. It's too bad that sticker's gone. This one is for sale. The price, listing price, will be $7,000, our best offer. It is a consignment deal. We're trying to get this to move as soon as possible, just because the owner wants to be done with it. It is in my possession. I need to get rid of things, so we're both very motivated to get it sold. Obviously, I know it has its flaws, like the paint and whatnot, but really that's the only flaw if you're really looking to nitpick anything. What's really cool is this one was registered, insured, inspected in the state of New York. Let me be the first to tell you is I don't know if you will be able to do that. I kind of leave it to your discretion. If you're in New York and you want to register a K vehicle, I have to tell you that they are illegal. That's the nature of it. Now, are there people like that, or like the food truck or other K trucks that get away with it and are able to? Yes. How they do it, I think you have to speak to those people to do it, but is it possible? It totally is. That doesn't necessarily mean that they won't get their registration revoked and whatnot, but overall, really, really cool van. In my opinion, it's totally worth it. If you're looking for a daily driver and you're looking to putt around, this would be great for like the city, because you're not driving, you know, a manual transmission. This is just get in, turn the key, put it in drive, and go. I drive this thing to California. That's how confident I am in these imports, and particularly this one. I do say this to everybody that buys a vehicle from me. These are over 25 years old. So if you have somebody that has an unrealistic expectation that this can't blow up tomorrow, I think you should never get into the imports. You should never buy an import. You should never buy a used car, let alone, because you can't ever tell when something's going to go wrong with a vehicle. I can't tell you that this one's going to last or the other ones are going to last. Sure, I have some service, and some of them just naturally come with issues. Like I have the Carry that it should be producing more speed. It should be going faster than this, but it isn't. That's just kind of the drawbacks of what happens with these vehicles. They're over 25 years old, people. If you're really expecting like longevity of them, I think you have the wrong expectation. You should come in knowing that at some point something will fail, potentially the whole thing, and know that there is a backup plan. Now, I always get asked the questions, how readily available are parts for these? There's a couple people you can go to. If you join Nick's Patreon, he can show you how to buy things on Buy or off of Yahoo Auctions. There's the 500 yen shop. You can make an account with them and do things like that. There's also like GNR Imports, who if you call them up and say, hey, I need X, Y, and Z, they'll tell you, hey, this is what we have available, or this is how long it'll take. They can do anything from engines to transmissions to drive shafts, anything. So GNR Imports, other importers, I can't really think of that many off the top of my head. Amaya.com or .jp, I think, is another one. But there's still parts available for these. These are not the 80s models or the 70s models. They no longer produce parts for it. They're still producing parts for this. The aftermarket world is pretty big. Rims are the ones that are going to be a little bit harder stateside, but again, you can do things like this where you adapt them from being 4x110 to 4x100, and then you can virtually fit up to any rim and tire here because it pokes it out. It allows you to go big. I usually tell people don't go any bigger than 14 or 13. You can probably fit a 15 on here, but it might slow it down. It also might look like a monster truck. That's the look you're going for. That's really cool. I mean, otherwise, clean title, ready to go. It will come with this K plate, unless you have a specific K plate in mind on my website. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, ask questions. I believe we're still, down to like 150 or 145 on the giveaway. Please, 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 let's fill it up. Tell your friends, family, anybody. Let's get this thing filled up so that way whoever wins this giveaway will have their things before the end of the holidays. And you're asking why such a rush? It's not that I'm trying to rush it. It's just I would love for somebody to have their Christmas or their Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrate to be able to be happy that they have whatever it is that they won, whether it's a 3,500 cash or whether it's one of the 6 cars or whether it's prize 2 through 5. I think this is really cool. Also, the other thing is, the sooner we finish this, the sooner those people that are asking me, is the Jimny for sale, is the, what's it called, the Carry for sale, is the, whatever the winner picks ultimately will then open up all those cars to be for sale. And again, I'll be more motivated to push them and get them out the door, because I have 8 more cars coming, 2 of which are already sold. So picture 6 more cars on top of all these 6, and now this 7th. It's like, whoa, it's getting out of hand. I got to get rid of things. So guys, if you have offers, if you see a particular car other than the ones that are in the giveaway, just reach out. Let's get these things sold. Let's buy these things. You know, these things are cool. Overall, someone needs to buy this van. Someone needs to buy it very, very soon. Well, until next video, later.